In October 2019, I traveled to the Green River in Utah with my brother and several really good friends. It was an adventure I will never forget. This was my first trip to the Green River, but it wouldn't be my last. 6 days and 5 nights of canoe camping was absolutely wonderful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have done this fun adventure with everyone. We experienced nice weather and beautiful sunsets, did some hiking, and enjoyed this stunning and awesome area. While we were still on this trip, I was already planning my next adventure back to the Green River. This amazing place will always be a part of me. I felt truly connected. We even hiked from the Green River to some rock arches about 3 miles away from our camp. Now I have the opportunity to do this trip again. Join me for a new 7-part series as I return to the Green River. After a night with several hours of light rain, we were all up and about. The early morning air was cool and felt very nice as we prepared to leave. We were getting our gear ready. It would be another nice day to go down the Green River. Alright, it's currently about 7 a.m. We're all up and getting ready to pack up our gear, but it rained pretty hard last night for a few hours, so everything is soaked, at least on the outside of the tents. Inside we stayed okay, but I'm gonna start breaking down this gear soon and get my day started. Yes. Here you can see the dry spot where my tent was at and all the wet land around there from the night before when it rained. And of course, look how beautiful it is here. That beautiful early morning sunrise and the red on these rocks as the morning light lit it all up and the blue of the sky. I just couldn't stop smiling. I was incredibly happy to be here. And I have to thank my friends for allowing me to go on this wonderful trip. Well, good morning, Green River. Good to see you. So we were bringing gear down to the canoes. It was decided to load my canoe up first so that I could get on the river before everybody else, because I'm slower moving as a solo canoeist having a heavy boat. So I took a break, took in the view for a moment, and the packing continued. And as I said, I was going to take off first here. Everybody had planned to do this so that I could get a head start since I was moving a lot slower than everyone else. Here we go. Good morning, Green River. Here I come. It's gonna be a beautiful day. Thanks, guys. It's floating nicely. It's nicely balanced. The day has begun. It's Wednesday morning. So it's day 5. We're going to canoe about 10 miles today down to a place called Ledge Camp. But before we do that, we are going to pass the Bow Knot Bend and then do the Bow Knot Bend itself, which is 7 miles of our 10. First mile will be here down to the Bow Knot Bend, and then the 7 miles of the Bow Knot Bend, and then about 2 more after that to our camp. So 10 miles sounds like a lot right now because I'm tired and hurting, but yesterday we did 14 and we survived it somehow. So 10 today probably won't be as bad. But yeah, casual float today, 10 miles, Ledge Camp, and then a layover day there. We'll be there tonight and tomorrow night, and then Friday morning we pack up and head down the Mineral Bottom to take out. Okay, up ahead of me there a little bit in the river, probably can't really make it out on camera, but there is a big bird walking from right to left toward the shore over by the trees there. I'm assuming it's probably one of those herons that we saw. We've seen 2 or 3 of them so far on this trip. This looks like one of them from here, but when I get a little closer, I'll try to get a better shot. I was right, it was one of those birds. You see it in the lower right-hand corner of screen there. Now it's boat's moving, so it's kind of heading toward the center of screen, but you can see the bird just walking through the water there at the shoreline. This must be a favorite place for them because I saw them 2 years ago when I was here, and I saw them this every day we've been here. We've seen them again. So nature as it happens. All right, this is looking back upriver from where I just came. I can still see the team up there on the shoreline. I haven't done much paddling at all. I've just kind of floated down the river, so I'm not too far ahead of them yet. They let me go first because I'm paddling alone, and it's taken me a little longer to do the journey than it is for them with two people paddling. So every day I've gotten loaded up first and set out on my journey to give me a little bit of a head start so that I don't get too far behind them when it comes to getting to camp. So beautiful morning, the air is cool. I'm in the shade. That helps keep the air cool for now. Heading down to the Bow Knot Bend and then ledge camp after that. That is exactly what I am talking about. A couple ravens over here on the shore. They're eating something. Can't tell if it's something man-made food or if it's something that they got that's natural, but it's actually still kind of chilly out here this morning, especially when you're in the shade for a while. Of course, I'm only wearing a t-shirt, but I am working here and paddling, so kind of warming up the muscles. Ooh, a little bit of a breeze coming up the canyon right now. Nothing that's affecting the boat in the water at all, but it's a chilly breeze. I'm actually feeling a little cold. I may have to do a long sleeve here in a little bit. You know, it's interesting coming on this trip for a second time. It's the return to the Green River. And this trip's slightly different for me because the first time I came here, I was with my brother Daniel. He sat in the front seat and I sat in the back here. And we paddled together, and man, it sure did help to have an extra set of arms in this boat with me. But I will say there is something about the solo part of it that's kind of neat. First of all, you have to be very self-reliant. I mean, there's nobody that's going to save you or help you turn the boat or paddle it. You got to be 100% on your own on this. And the one thing I found yesterday, canoeing 14 miles, that was rough, doing it alone. It was really, really tiring and exhausting. And then toward the end of it, I really started to feel almost, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but kind of desperate or nervous, something like that, where it felt like it was never going to end, and paddling alone all that time for 14 miles was a lot to do. And I started to mentally almost give up. And that was one thing I mentioned yesterday on the videos, was you have to have the struggle within and the struggle without, but you also have to have the strength within and the strength without. So physically you have to be able to pull off this strength-wise, but mentally, up here in your mind, you got to keep your brain in a good position and in a good mood, because it's awesome being out here, but physically it's demanding, and you really start to feel it when you're alone in a boat, especially a fully loaded boat full of gear like this. Yesterday, toward the end of that paddle, it was about 4.5 hours of paddling, I really started to feel my mental state start to slip a bit, where I was physically so exhausted that I was literally starting to become like I was starting to get into a bad mood. And that's not cool. This is a place for good moods and beauty and relaxing. Even if you're getting buzzed around by bugs all the time, it's still a beautiful place. And really, the bugs haven't been that bad. There's these little gnats that are kind of flying around me now. It's a big swarm of them. And then there was some flies at camp last night that were deciding to land on us a little bit here and there, but can't complain. That's pretty minor stuff in the big picture. It's all right. Got a good timing and rhythm going. I think I'm coming up to the Bow Knot Bend here in just a few minutes. I'm probably not going to climb it this year, but I will show you a little flashback of the video from 2 years ago so you can still kind of see what it looks like. All right, so we're almost to the top of the Bow Knot Bend here, the part where we can see both rivers. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Lots of climbing. Definitely out of breath. All right, here's the gap. We came up from down there at the river, and now you can see the river here, and then the river 7 miles away over here. It's a big loop to get back to this point. Awesome. The views from the top of the Bow Knot Bend were amazing. I had dreamed of being here for almost a decade, and now here I was, and it was even better than I imagined. All right, there you go, folks. This part of the river on the right is the one we're going down, and after a 7-mile loop, we'll be on this one on the left. Can't believe it. It's just so incredibly beautiful. I would say if you're a newbie to hiking, you haven't done a lot of rugged hikes, this is definitely not the hike for someone who's not experienced. This thing is rugged and on the edge on both sides. One false move and you're gonna be hurting pretty bad. It's a physically demanding climb. It's a hike and a climb at the same time to get up to the top of that thing. And I kind of rather reserve that energy for the paddling, because I'm realizing when you are physically pushing yourself for, I don't know, close to 10 or 12 hours in a day where you almost don't stop moving, you find out that you have a limit as far as energy is concerned. You have a reserve, and once it's used up, you're borrowing from tomorrow. And that's not good, because that's how you age yourself and how you get older quicker and beat yourself down. Trust me, I've had 50 years of doing that to myself. That's why I look older than I actually am. And I feel older than I actually am. But life is beautiful if you know where to look. So keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open, and it just might lead you to someplace awesome. Like here, the Green River in Utah. Oh, there's the sun. Feels nice. That high rock right there toward center frame, that's where the Bow Knot Bend begins as far as the canoe part starts there. The lower part to the right is the actual spot that you can climb up to. Right there in the lower areas, you can hike up there and you can see the river is only 2/10 of a mile from here behind that wall. But you have to go down here past that tall rock and do a 7-mile loop in order to come back to basically where you almost started, which is just on the other side of this wall right here. So yeah, Bow Knot Bend is awesome. It begins, and you can see just to the right of that big rock, there's a little rock spire by itself when you hike up to the top of that thing, you get up to that area, and then you can hike to the right along the ridge. It's a pretty cool hike. We were up there 2 years ago. Like I said, I'll show you some flashback videos from 2019. I'm not going to hike it this time. It's just a little bit too much work for me. But I've been up there before, and I've signed the registry box, or signed the register in the box, I mean. So there it is, Bow Knot Bend. So I got 7 miles around this thing, and then 2 more miles approximately after that to camp. So I'm a mile in so far. There's some debris coming up in the river, so I better start paddling and paying attention. So there you go, Bow Knot Bend. We love you. Thank you for being here and being awesome. Okay, 1 mile down, 7 to go. Well, that's just 7 around the Bow Knot Bend, but then about another 2 miles to camp after that. So technically 1 mile down, 9 miles to go. 10% of it's already done. And the Bow Knot Bend is up here to my right. And I'm looking at it, and I can't believe I climbed up there 2 years ago. I don't even see a trail. It just looks like vertical rock to me, but we found a way up it last time, and it was somewhat safe. It was intense, but safe. There's the Bow Knot part you climb up to right behind me there. It's amazing to think you have to do 7-mile loop to get back to where you almost began, within 2/10 of a mile of where you started. I'm not complaining. This is a beautiful 7-mile stretch, and it's very special. Holds a place in my heart forever. Matt told me to follow the foam. That's what I plan on doing. This canyon looks like it would be a cool place to camp and explore. Here about 2 miles into the Bow Knot Bend, probably. There's a couple of nice big trees over there as well that would probably offer shade for camp. So I'm gonna have to look this up on the map because it looks really neat. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program. All right, up ahead of me is a sandbank. So it looks like I'm gonna have to go river left. Go around that. got warm today. It's still chilly. And the breeze keeps coming in and it's really messing with the canoeing. Why does it always have to be in your face? If the wind was coming from behind, it sure would be helpful. And here are my good friends Matt and Terry. Matt is the Southwest Backpacker from the YouTube channel, and Terry is the team leader on all these trips. So thank you guys both for bringing me with you and passing on the knowledge and the beauty of the Green River. Wind's been a little rough coming around the Bow-Knot Bend, just like last time. I don't think it's as intense as last time, but it's definitely hindering the boat movement for me. And if I get the boat turned too far into the wind, it'll just push me sideways like a big sail. Anyway, we are almost done with the 7-mile loop of the Bow-Knot Bend. That means I'm almost 8 miles into my 10-mile journey, and I'm happy about that. There it is, the other side of the Bow-Knot Bend. Quite magnificent, if I do say so myself. So I'm coming up here in a few minutes to the side of this thing, and when I get there, that means I'll be 2/10 of a mile from where I was 7 miles ago. So the Bow-Knot Bend, it's definitely a classic feature right here on the Green River in Utah. You hear what I'm saying? Because the wind is kind of crazy. Check out these weird clouds today. What's up with that, man? Very weird. Got really lucky today. We had a couple windy stretches here and there. Well, more than a couple, more like a dozen. but the wind was never nearly as bad as it was when I was here 2 years ago. And now I'm probably a mile or so from camp, so hopefully it'll stay kind of calm like this. Because I'll tell you, when there's wind on the water, it's hard to read the river as well. You can't see the shallows as much, and you're not 100% certain, which way to go without getting into some trouble. So I bottomed out a couple times on some sandbars, but thankfully I was able to push myself out. So after a somewhat windy day off and on, and about 10 miles on the river, I finally was getting closer to Ledge Camp. And here you can see the rest of my party is here unloading the boats, and I'm so glad to finally be here and take a break from paddling. So fast forward to a little while later, and we've got all the canoes unloaded, and we're taking in the view of this beautiful camp. Ledge Camp has been advertised as amazing, and I have to say, it absolutely lives up to that name. Amazing Ledge Camp. I'm just blown away by this entire experience, and now we're going to have a layover camp here. Awesome. Later on, we played the board game Meeple War. This was the second time on this trip. That's because this is a favorite with the group, and I love playing this game too. So much that I ended up with a copy back at home for myself. So after playing Meeple War for a while, the sun started to set. The surrounding landscape was lit up in the evening sun. It was going to be a beautiful night. And of course, dinner a little while later of dirty rice, thanks to Terry. Talk about dinner with a view. Awesome. Speaking of dinner with a view, the sun started to set on the clouds like this just a few minutes later, and I could look over at my tent and just be blown away by where I was going to be camping tonight. The sunsets never disappoint here. And Terry set up the lights again at base camp. These lights were awesome. They illuminated the area, and they looked really cool too, especially in the pictures. And of course, what evening wouldn't be complete without a little campfire experience. And as the moon starts to rise above the camp, you realize how awesome this experience really is. Remember, folks, life is beautiful if you know where to look. Keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Thank you for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Be sure to check my YouTube channel for almost 900 additional video adventures. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.
Uba, 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 tuba, tuba.
Goo? Goo. I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where I've been. The return to the Green River. Sorry.
A little clogged up there, man. I'll tell you what, son or another.